Where education stakeholders will this afternoon petition the government to reduce secondary school fees. Now, as it stands, fees in national secondary schools ranges between 70,000 to 120,000 Kenya shillings, amounts that lock out a good number of deserving students. Stakeholders, led by the elimu yetu coalition, will today hold a protest march before presenting the petition to Parliament. And our senior reporter, Asha Mwili, now joins us from the City Centre live. Asha, they're saying this amount is too much. So what is the proposed figure that they're looking to get?
Yeah, Edith, you're absolutely right. The figure that these activists are quoting, saying that this is what Kenyans should be paying, is actually pegged from the Kilemi Mwiria report. So what the elimu yetu coalition committee umbrella is doing is that they're marching from Pioneer Place here in the CBD to Parliament buildings, and they want to present a petition to the National Assembly Education Committee. So let me just break down the argument to you, Edith. So they say that national schools currently charge 70,000 to 120,000 shillings. That's secondary national schools. And Kilemi Mwiria and his task force released a report saying that the maximum amount that a Kenyan student should be paying at the national level is 51,000 shillings. Now, Edith, you remember in 2008, the government began a grant paying about 10,000 shillings to every student in public secondary schools. From last year, the Jubilee government has been paying about 12,000 and a few hundreds. What this means is that if the Kilemi Mwiria report is indeed in force, then if you're paying 51,000 shillings, subtract the 12,000 shillings that the government will pay, it means that every parent should be paying around 38,000 shillings in national schools and in district schools. So the elimu yetu coalition simply wants the Ministry of Education to issue a circular to public schools and say that the maximum amount you should be charging is 51,000 shillings to secondary school students. And if not, they want the ministry then to declare the report irrelevant and to explain to Kenyans why the Kilemi Mwiria task force actually used taxpayers' money, yet their report is not implemented. Edith.
All right. Now, Asha, you've given us the details of what exactly they're looking for, but this petition is obviously very critical in achieving this. Do we know how many people have signed this petition and what impact it might have on the government?
Well, it is from their petition that I'm looking at right now. I'm seeing about 1,000 to 2,000 signatures. And what this means is that they just want to show that there's a public outcry about the amount of money charged by national schools. And they do have some strong talking points. When you look at last year's statistics, about 30% of the students that were called to national schools did not show up. So the elimu yetu coalition says that this is because the school fees is too high, especially from students from poor households. So they're saying that at least every Kenyan should be able to afford around 38,000 shillings per term for a student going to national school, and that's why they're saying that this is very critical to every Kenyan, and that Parliament should take this petition very seriously.
Now, Asha, final question. You are saying that it's an umbrella of organizations. Could you just break down for us who these organizations are made of? Are they teachers? Are they parents? Who are they?
Well, Edith, the umbrella is elimu yetu coalition, and of course it includes a lot of activists that are very passionate about education matters, but they're also including parents, because most of the people that have signed on this petition are parents who have their students in secondary schools, public secondary schools, who really want this figure to go down. And Edith, you know, we've been talking about this for a really long time because we've been observing the transition rate from primary schools to secondary schools, especially after the government introduced the free primary education. And you do know that the transition rate is pretty low. We have about 30 to 40% of primary students who don't make it to secondary schools. So this is one issue that we will be seeing a lot of debate on, and we're hoping that we can get even some parents' view to tell us what they think about the petition and whether this is the right way. And most importantly, Edith, it will be very critical to observe how Parliament receives the petition and what they'll do about it afterwards.
All right, thank you very much, Asha Mwili. We're certainly keeping an eye on that story, that petition, which is set to be presented in Parliament this afternoon. So we'll definitely bring you the details of that in our subsequent bulletin.